Some of you contemplating to purchase a property might be overwhelmed at the outset with the thought of having to go through various formalities, legal procedures and terms. And a couple of those terms that will be you mainly hear will be leasehold and freehold properties. So what do they exactly mean? Are there any legalities that are attached to any of them that anyone buying land should be aware of before buying? And what actually is the difference between the two? And is one of them better than the other? Welcome back to Matters Real Estate Q&A. And our question is, what does it mean to have freehold or a leasehold property or a leasehold title? Understanding types of land ownerships available is very important, especially if one intends to purchase a property. And we have two main land tenure systems. And by land tenure, we mean the right to own a piece of land and the period attached to it. The first type of land tenure or land ownership, or basically property ownership system, is freehold. And by freehold, we mean that the owner of the land has the absolute ownership of the land. And the descendants of the owner of the land can succeed to own the land as long as the family lineage exists. A free title deed has no restrictions on the use of the land, although in some cases we might have restriction, like if the land is meant for agricultural purposes or for ranching. And another name that is used to describe free ownership, freehold land ownership, is simple or absolute proprietorship. And on the second type of land ownership is leasehold, and this is always the most complicated one among the two. And the leasehold ownership gives the owner the right to use the land for a specific period of time, and the payment of the rates are meant to the respective local authority. So on the leasehold kind of land ownership, the leases are given by the government or any authority in charge of that, and what happens is that the owner is entitled to use the land for a period of 99 years if it's urban plots, or 909 years for agricultural land. And upon the expiry of the lease, the owner of the land is entitled to or basically extend the lease by paying some amount of money or some rates attached to it. So if anyone is buying any property, it's very important to know the leasehold status. And this is basically because the leasehold status determines the value of the land, and also it determines the period which is remaining. For example, if you are buying land and it has like 5 or 10 years remaining, you realize that it's going to be difficult for you to recoup your investment if the lease expires and there's no option to extend it. And there's this notion that when the lease expires, the land is like taken away or it is repossessed, but there is always the option of extending the land, although it is not always guaranteed. So that is why it is very important to understand the leasehold status, and also to know what kind of the tenure system is the land on. Is it freehold or is it leasehold? Because knowing the difference will help in determining the value of the land, and this will be very important for any buyer of any property. Thank you so much for sticking to my channel, and stick around for the next episode of Matters Real Estate Q&A, and remember to subscribe and leave your comments and to share the video.